So I tell you guys that you're a product of your habits, okay? And like understand that for you to consistently come up short is a trigger that's not going off in your brain, okay? Where you start to slow down and let off the gas, it's too early. It's too early. In your mind, you're like, okay, that's enough. I'm saying it's too early. And what does that do to you? Now you get labeled, okay? Never mind me. I'm trying to help you push your highest limit. Our relationship is different from when you go on to your boss at your next company, okay? But I'm going to explain to you what happens when you have your boss in this situation, okay? Because I want you guys to learn from it. If you're a person that's barely squeaking over the top or not, or barely creeping in, okay? Really, there's like, to keep it high level, there's like three levels. There's three levels of maybe four, 3 to 4 levels of workers, okay? Number one is shit hot, okay? They are on top of their game, all right? These are the people that you would not hesitate to hire, okay? People that are on time. Like I get several calls from recruiters, right? You know, you guys can use me as references when you start submitting for jobs. When you get your job, I'm the one doing the background check for you and all of that, right? So I talk to these recruiters all the time. And the questions they want to know is, was the person dependable? Okay. Were they on time? Okay. Are they easy to work with? How well do they work with others? These are the questions that they're asking me, right? They can ask me anything. And this recruiters from every agency you can think of, they're all asking the same questions. Matter of fact, I already know the questions they're going to ask me. I already got the responses. I give the same basic response for everybody. I know exactly what they're going to ask. I know exactly what they want. They want somebody that's consistent. Number one, first and foremost, is consistency. Consistency is not about spikes. Oh, how I work when I'm really attentive. It's not about how you work after you had a family member pass, God forbid. All right, it's not you at your high, it's not you at your low. It's how do you consistently work? And most bosses, most managers, most people in a leadership position, they want somebody that's going to consistently be good. Okay? So in the first group, you got your all stars. These people constantly exceed expectation. You want to challenge them to do more because you know that they're going to end up being in a leadership position purely based on their work ethic. Okay? Your work ethic decides whether someone sees you for a leadership position. It's directly correlated. When I hire people and they show that they're consistently exceeding expectation, you know what I do for those people? I give them more, right? Because I was once that hungry person who would take every single assignment and try to figure out how I could create something out of it or how I could do something extra with it not for per se the company, but I wanted to learn, right? I wanted to figure this thing out. I wanted to understand how things work. So I was always hungry. Okay. And for those people that I see coming through, I give them a little bit more. Hey, try this out. Okay. I'm not going to give a person that's consistently coming up short, I'm not going to give them anything extra. I'm just praying that they can get done with what I give them. Right? That's how, listen, I'm being real with you guys. I'm just explaining how the perception of you is depending on your work ethic. Okay? For those who are constantly exceeding, guess what? Those are the people that I want to challenge to do more. Those are the people that I would put in a leadership position if it opened up. Because if they're working that way now, imagine how they work with some more money in the pocket. Imagine how they would work with a little bit more responsibility or a bigger role or moving up. Right? People don't move up and then change. You don't move up and then change. Okay? You perform how you're going to perform even at your low level. That's just how it works. I've never seen a person constantly come up short and then you give them a bigger responsibility and then they excel. It's the opposite. It's the very opposite. The people that don't perform, you give them more money, you give them more responsibility, you give them more, they still don't. Because you're not a product of what you want, you're a product of your habits. And so you don't get too many people that are your ones that are pressing and constantly going above. Those only come a few and far between. Okay. The next group down is people that do what they're supposed to do consistently. They get it done. Okay. Maybe they're not overachieving. Maybe they had to grind to get there. That's okay, but they're getting it done. Okay. I think I would take those people on my team all day long. Okay. You tell them what the requirements are, they get it done. Okay. It might not be like these other top folks that will go, I say build a data mart, they build two. Okay, like you're not expecting that. Nobody's expecting that. They only come every so often. And the reason they come is because they're meant to be in a bigger position, but they got to go through the same process as everybody else. Okay, you can't just skip up. There's some people that are destined to be in bigger, higher, more authoritative positions. And those people show by their work ethic. They're not going to settle just for mediocre. That's just not how they're built. Okay, but again, those people don't come few and far between, so you don't expect that. What you do expect is the person in the second group who can always consistently get things done. May come up short every now and then, that's okay, as long as consistently they're getting things done. Okay? And then you have that third group. Can't quite get there, right? You give them the requirements, you got to have a review with them, they still not doing it, or they might be up a little bit and down a little bit. Those people you looking to try to motivate because they more like week to week, depending on how they feeling, okay? But you don't have your luxury. Your hiring manager doesn't have a luxury in saying, just give me group 1 and group 2. If they did, they would, but you don't. Because when you interview, you don't know what you're getting. Okay, you're trying to take this 30-minute, 1-hour call, and you're trying to assess how this person is going to be over the long haul, and you just can't do that without longer sample size. You need more data. Okay? I think I can tell it with you guys, but you've been pumping data in my system for months. At this point, when you come to the internship, all I got to see is a few weeks to know how you operate. All right? I got all of the data, I can see it. All right? I know who I would hire out of the group. Some of y'all, we just gonna get y'all a job somewhere else because y'all not coming to work for me. And some of you guys, I see the potential. I would grab you immediately. Like Lynette, I always talk good about Lynette. I'd hire Lynette. If I had the position for her right now, I would hire Lynette because I know she's one of those stars, okay, that you don't get very often. So I would definitely bring her on board immediately. All right. So then you got group 4. Okay, group 4, you're not gonna last long. Okay. And group 4 is mainly in group 4 because of effort. Okay. Like you can be somebody who just doesn't pick things up faster, but because of effort, you can be in group 3. Okay, enough effort, you can be in group 3, work your way up to group 2. If you're passionate about what you do. Okay, if you're just like not invested, then you're definitely going to be a group 4. Okay, you only perform when you feeling good. Okay, you don't really do all your checks and stuff. You consistently forgetting things. You got to be told things over again. Okay, and then people hate working with you. Okay, just being honest, because in a professional setting, there's this certain professionalism that you need to have, and everyone expects you to have it. Okay, and when you don't, when you constantly letting your team down and you don't seem to care, well then people stop caring about you, right? Because it's like you're messing up my well-being by not getting your end of the bargain, right? And so people don't appreciate that. You know, if you working hard and you working hard for the person right next to you, people respect that. People appreciate that. They like that. They work even harder to match you. It's a great vibe. Okay. But when someone breaks that trust, and people don't want to work with you. Hiring managers don't want to, like, you got them. They're like, oh man, damn, I got a group 4. This guy's a group 4. Right? You were hoping for a 2. Every now and then, you know, you'll get a 1, but you're not dependent on that. You get you some 3s, you end up having some 3s, and then the 4s, you're like, you know, the 4s make you stress out. The 3s maybe need just, you know, constant motivation. Your 2s, you just leave them alone, let them do their thing. And then your 1s are always on another level. They come up with the things that you didn't think about. Right? And so pretty much people are going to fall into those groups, right? And so when you consistently fall up short, you just basically setting yourself in your group. All right. And whatever group you're in, that's how your managers and the people around you are going to see you. Okay. Most people are passive. Understand that. Most people will not tell you what they're thinking, especially in a work environment. Okay. Nobody's going to walk up to you and say you're lazy. Why? Because you're going to get super offended. You're going to get upset, and that doesn't need to happen in a work environment. Okay. Rather, what people will do is they'll do little shady things. They'll go send an email to your boss, or maybe not directly, but then they'll make little sly comments, and maybe they'll talk about you when you're not around, right? And do little things like that versus come to you and say, hey, I think you can step it up in this area. They won't do that. Okay, very, very few people will do that because there's a potential for a conflict. Okay, and most people are passive. Understand that. Most people aren't going to tell you exactly what you need to know. They're going to kind of beat around the bush. Okay, so you got to have a lot of self-awareness and understand. If you look at your score, some people rub others the wrong way, but don't realize it. I had this one guy that just got placed, maybe like 4 months ago. Okay. Really, really smart. Okay. If he had any people skills, he would be in group 1. But he didn't have people skills and he didn't know it. He didn't understand that he didn't have them. How do you not know what you don't know? Right? All of his life he's gone through. And then when he starts working with the team or working with group or even talking to me, he's rubbing everybody the wrong way. Just saying the wrong thing. He doesn't realize it. He's making everyone around him awkward. It's awkward to be around you. So I told him, I said, hey, you're already doing well on the training. If you just keep up what you're doing, you'll be fine. What you need to focus on is your people skills. Okay? You need to stay in the intern. He ended up leaving the internship, but I said you need to stay in the internship because you need to understand how you communicate with people. The technical side is not going to be your downfall. Okay? You're never going to lose your job because someone says that you're incapable of doing the job. That is not a concern that you have. But I can see you leaving the job because you rubbed somebody the wrong way or you did something that offended somebody. That'll be how you lose your job, which is every bit of important. Okay, it's not just about the technical skills. It's about the people skills as well. But we'll move on. But I just wanted to show that to say, hey, it's the same people falling up short. You guys are in that 3 list. Okay? It's up to you to say, this is not my stopping point here for this week. Here's where I used to stop. Now I need to challenge myself so I can get out of that 3 group. So I can get up to a 2 group. Because it's not easy. Okay? Changing your habits is not easy. It's everything in you that says, I'm done. I'm quitting right now. I'm done. That is ingrained in you. In order to change that, you got to really do some self-reflection. And if you don't do the self-reflecting or you don't think that there's a problem, you will not improve. You cannot improve without a problem. If everything that you're doing is done well, why would you ever change? You would never change. So self-reflection is very important because you may not be good in a certain area, but because you're so high on your own horse, you don't even see that it's a problem. Therefore, you can't even fix it. That's why it's so important to humble yourself. Because you don't know all of the areas where you lack in. Why? Why don't you understand? Because it's like this. Okay? People that are irritating don't know that they're irritating. People that talk very slow don't know that they talk slow because everything is normal to that person. If I talk fast, I think I talk normal. You talk slow, right? Everything is relative to that person. If I talk fast, you talk slow. It's not I talk, no, it's not I talk fast, you talk normal. No, I'm normal. You slow, right? Everything is based on that person's perspective. Okay? Therefore, people don't know their downsides. That's why you got to humble yourself because you may be saying something and don't realize that you're on the extreme of one end. You don't realize it because everything seems normal to you. You see? So when you're able to figure out that maybe you don't do something as well, then guess what? Self-reflection, there has to be a problem before you can find a fix for it. So you will never seek a better option until you first establish that there's a problem. Once you understand the problem, then you can fix it with the solution. But you are not going to fix anything if you don't see a problem. So just keep that in mind.